Hello, everyone. My name is Will Foster. I go to North Paulding High School. Next year, I will be a senior. I am in the Army JROTC over there. This past year, I was a platoon leader, so I was in charge of 20-something people. I am also in the University of Alabama Early College. So right now I'm taking Japanese and political science. Next week I'll be starting astronomy and psychology. So a lot of stuff to do in the past 3 weeks. Building the rover was actually a lot of fun. I really didn't have any setbacks with it. The only real thing was that the Arduino wasn't uploading properly, which was very easily fixed by getting a new updated version of the code. Really cool thing I learned during this is like how Arduino's motor controllers actually work, because they're not just this magical device that work the second you plug them in. You actually have to put the code on the Arduino to tell it, hey, whenever you get this signal, you have to send the electrical signal over to the motor controller, which will then tell it, make the motors go forward or backwards, depending on which way the electrical signal is going. And I also observed a few things about the wheels that I wanted to change for some of my modifications. Next slide, please. First of that being the mounting system that we had was not the best. You can see in the bottom left-hand side how I decided to fix those was by putting in those metal clamps. I sawed in, as you can see on the right side, little holes into them so that I can slide those through. That bottom left picture was whenever I first put them in, it was really lopsided, because we had originally glued the PVC for the old mounting system, which was not exactly the best, which ended up making, I don't know if you can see it in that picture, but that back left wheel was actually like 3 inches off the ground. So what ended up happening was I had to drill new holes into the front right pieces of wood to lower down the Rover to be able to actually have that motor on the ground, which was a very interesting fix and took a while to figure out. Other thing that I noticed with the wheels was that they didn't have much friction on them. So I couldn't actually go upstairs like I originally wanted to. So I decided to fix that using cat tongue tape, which you will see in 2 slides. The other modification I decided to do was a claw. I am not done with this yet. I didn't really get that far into it because it was a lot of using the engineering process to build the thing from scratch. I wanted to make a claw that could go up and down and open and close on the end to be able to pick stuff up as if it was on Mars, pick up soil samples and stuff. Currently, as you can see, I have just the gear to be able to make it go up and down in the actual motor. The motor does work. If you plug it in, you just have to switch the wires around to make it either go up or down. And I plan on finishing that up after camp whenever I have time. This is the final rover. As you can see, the cat tongue tape on the wheels, it does climb stuff now, which is kind of nice. What I learned how the engineering process worked. The claw definitely is what taught me that. It's a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what can you do, what can't you do, all that fun stuff. And I also learned how electronics and a lot of the everyday stuff that you use, how all that stuff works. It's not just magical electronics that immediately work the second you plug them in. You have to make code for them. You have to make sure that everything's actually plugged in properly, no wires are connected or anything. After this, I want to go into aerospace engineering through the University of Alabama, and I would love to work at Lockheed or SpaceX, NASA, one of those, whenever I get my aerospace engineering degree. And thank you to Lockheed Martin, Georgia Space Grant, and the Aerospace Systems Design Lab and our mentors for putting on the program and giving us this experience.
First question coming in. Do you like studying political science? Jennifer wants to know.
It's very interesting. It's a lot of different viewpoints that you wouldn't necessarily think about until you actually hear it from someone. And it's a lot of figuring out, oh, hey, I used to believe this, but with this kind of evidence put in front of you, it's like, I don't know that I can believe that anymore.
So, second question from Jennifer. Have you tried coding for your claw yet?
No, I haven't. I was going to do all the coding for it and stuff whenever I know that the actual motors work, so that whenever I do code, I know that it's the code that doesn't work and it's not the claw that doesn't work.
Chris wants to know, what was your biggest takeaway from the engineering process?
Biggest takeaway was not everything's going to work on the first try. It takes time. It'll take a few prototypes for something to work. I think I I had to undo hot glue on the actual like up and down claw like 5 or 6 times, and there's a lot of hot glue on the floor. So nothing works on the first try is probably the biggest takeaway from that.
Sign wants to know, have you looked at other internships in aerospace specifically?
Not yet. I at the moment it's especially with Alabama early college, it's I don't know that I would have time to be able to actually go out and stuff. Because I mean it takes a lot of work with especially with Alabama with some of these classes, especially with going into astronomy next week. I don't know that I would be able to at the moment.
I think one last question coming in from Jennifer. Are you going to be continuing ROTC in college?
With aerospace engineering, probably not. It's I've looked at some of the schedules and stuff for colleges and all that with ROTC and all that stuff. It's one of those where it's like it takes up a lot of time, and especially going into engineering, I need that time to be studying like all the stuff that we're going to be doing and going into some of those clubs and stuff and actually learning how to build. So,
All right. Well, again, Will, great job. Thank you for presenting.
thank you.